taking that discipline from training every day and having the
Mm-hmm.
discipline to go out and do these things on my own, constantly shifting gears, having that physical mentality of getting better, but also transitioning that to the professional world, I think has been a big change for me. And I've seen that in my career. I'm using that discipline that everything has taught me from like timing, getting in better shape, all that what goes into exercising and getting better, but then taking that into a more professional domain and just
So when it comes to taking your discipline and setting it into a domain, like I think probably number one is I think in the time that we last spoke, you completed a marathon, I believe.
I did, yes, in December. That was a
Yeah. So
December
how
month.
did that? So just give us like a recap of that. Like, so this was your first marathon, right?
Mm, this is
And why
yeah,
don't you just take us through what you were kind of experiencing, and then how you kind of went through that marathon?
yeah. So the goal started in right before everything happened in COVID. So like right around this time frame, actually, first week of March. It just seemed like back then things were not going my way last year. As for everyone, kind of everything's turning on a loop.
Mm-hmm.
But on my 25th birthday, at the time I was really into running before that, but then it stopped for 3 months just because I was kind of in a darker place. Things aren't going my way. Just kind of gave up on a certain things, but just made a promise to myself on my 25th birthday. It felt like I just was almost more awake and
Okay.
more live more present in the moment per se, and just kind of made a promise that I was going to run a marathon, going to beat my half marathon time, going to get back into running, and just consistently pursue this avenue of getting better in that retrospect, in my career, in my running career, and so forth. So, I mean, through 6, 7 months of training, trained every day as much as I could, up the mileage, just doing everything I can to be a better functional runner. I really attached to the science of running. Was never much of a runner before, so I was
So
a
you're talking
body
about the
athlete.
science of running. What have you learned about the science of running since you began this process?
It's definitely like obviously the Garmin helps with all the data, but definitely just the cadences, the heart rate, the strength, the different mentalities. It's like all these elements that combine that go into not just running per se, but like endurance.
Mm-hmm.
But those go hand in hand. So
Yeah.
I would say the various elements of running and how that combines to endurance, it just intrigued me. I'm definitely addicted to that adrenaline and what it puts my body through. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think
a
it
lot
was
of people a lot of people are afraid of running, and it is something to fear in some ways, but it's also like you're talking about the sciences. You really dialed in, so you're talking about heart rate training. What impact has like having a device that is able to track your data had on your impact as an athlete?
insane. I was running without any device for maybe 4 or 5 months and was almost plateauing at the same level. Couldn't level up on what I was doing. I was running 10-minute miles. Like it was pretty bad. But I mean, at the time that was good for me. And once I got the device, seeing like I didn't even know this stuff even existed. Cadences, heart rate, all that stuff that kind of goes into what makes a good runner, what makes a good endurance athlete. And then having access to these to this technology is just influence it in a way that it definitely upgrades your training, but you have to put in the work to pay attention and have the discipline to keep up with the training, keep up with the data. It's just making sure you're logging it in a way that makes sense for you, and you're going to level up if you pay attention.
Yeah, so you get this watch, and you're running you see this difference in not just a plateau, but you continue to rise based on the data. How so in terms of where you were at to getting to your, and you can tell us, the time and the data and stuff, but what when was like the moment that you kind of got the watch, and then what was kind of the data like then versus get us into like what your final results were just for this marathon.
Yeah, so I got the watch in August, and that was at the time I was already past the build phase. I was just running. I was in good condition,
Yeah.
so I had a good base starting out for pre-data, pre-everything. So once I got it, it just leveled up from there. Kept getting better, kept getting paid more attention to the data, kept getting faster. And through August until November, was the key marathon training days. Just ran as much as I could, did my own training schedules, 7-mile threshold runs, 15-mile runs. Never made it to 20 miles. I should do that next time because I probably could have got a better time. But for me at that time, I just wanted to finish the marathon. I didn't really care about the time at that point, but now I do. So, because I know it's possible and it's very feasible with all the work that you can put into it. So through those build phase until November, December was the day, tapered for 3 weeks. And we ran my first marathon in under 4 hours, 3 hours, 58 minutes at a 9-minute pace per se. Incredible. Loved it.
Yeah, for a self-coached marathon, I mean, that's fantastic. And I I've run half marathons and felt pretty casual at like a 9:30 pace, but to do that for a full marathon, I mean, that's extremely impressive. So congratulations on that. Because like it's you're talking about that, like that level of unknown. You're kind of like entering that like unknown dark area where it's just uncharted territory. Perhaps marathon is like a really good process of understanding that there are things that we will not know. There are things unknown to us in this world, and the only thing that we can do to approach the unknown is just to approach it, to just walk into it and take everything that we get in stride.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And it just kind of stems from, you have to remove fear from the unknown. You have to go into it. You have to tap, everyone has this switch or leader, whoever you want to be the greatest version of yourself in them. You just got to tap into that person and consistently look for ways to seek the unknown, I guess, per se, remove fear from anything. And you can do it.
Yeah. It's when we remove that kind of like coupling to us, when we can remove that collar, we can really break past that barrier of fear. We really get into new places. So you finish this marathon, and a lot of people experience maybe a level of unknown after that, which is like, well, what's next? In terms of what you could experience after the marathon, what went through your head as soon as you finished this marathon?
Yeah, that was, there's only a few moments that I've experienced something like that. It's after the half marathon and now the full one, you just experience the rush of, you put all this work into something and to see the results in a better fashion than you ever dreamed of it's just an incredible feeling. It's an incredible feeling of self-reward. You are capable of doing things that are unknown to you. And that's what really gets illuminated from that. You go into something like this and then you come out knowing that you can step the bar even higher and continuously seek these challenges, not just like physical, but professionally seeking these challenges and just always chasing that self-reward. Self-fulfillment is what you're chasing, is what I just experienced. Insane dopamine right here.
Absolutely. It's a total rush, man.
You get that self-fulfillment, and then it kind of goes with you and it becomes who you are. It stays with you.
What's up, everybody? If you are a fan of this segment, this is a part of the I Will Not Quit podcast. You can subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.